Hey everyone, this is Rachel. Thanks for clicking on my video. And I wanted to come in today and talk about this Rachel Dolezal. She has resurfaced again because she's doing some interviews, because she's written a book. Now, I don't think I need to refresh your memory on who she is and why she's a controversial figure. But for those of you who either forgot about her or didn't know about her, she is the white woman that was heading up a local chapter of the NAACP. Now, basically, she had been passing as black for years. Yes, you heard that right. She had been passing for black. And what happened is she did this interview, and the interviewer asked her point blank, was she black? And she didn't have an answer. She got up and left. Now, after that occurred, what happened is people started digging in her past, and they brought up, information that she was indeed a white woman that was passing as black. Now, she went all over television after that happened, doing interviews on why she actually felt that she was a black woman, even though she was born to two Caucasian people. Her parents were even on television talking about it. Well, that brings us to today. So like I said, this woman has written a book. And let me just say, y'all, up front that when I decided to do this video, I said I was going to do it in a mature way. I am a grown-up woman, and I should be able to do a video without cursing. But what happened is I read the interview that she did, and the answers to the questions that she was given really started to piss me off. And let me tell you why. Because to me, it feels like this is some type of college experiment that she's doing. That this is like the ultimate form of sampling. Let me give you an example. You remember back in the day when those old style singers back in the 60s used to make records, and their records would have a certain level of exposure in the black community. But then what would happen is that a white person would sing their song, and then it would have, a nationwide exposure because the white person was singing it. A lot of people that did a lot of sampling was like Elvis Presley and people like that. They would take black people's songs, sing them, and the black person might have had a small level of fame with their song, and then a white person sings it and gets all of this fame, makes all of this money, and the black person doesn't get anything from that. So to me, that's what it feels like she's doing. She's sampling our culture, and it's almost like she's putting on a quote unquote uniform of being a black woman. You know, you're gonna hear some clicking while I'm doing this video because I want to go back to some of the questions that she was given and some of the answers that she gave. Now, in this interview, once again, she admits that, her parents were white, and her new book is called In Full Color: Finding My Place in a Black and White World. And the book starts off with her talking about the challenging upbringing that she had that shaped her search for an identity as a black or trans black woman. Now, this term that she uses, trans black, that, starts off for me with a little trouble. Trans black. She says that that if we're going to move past some sort of post-racial society, we have to allow some racial fluidity. meaning that you can be whoever you want to be. So for her, being a white woman or being born a white woman, she can choose to be black. Now, right when this interview starts off with this type of nonsense, I start to get pissed because as a black woman, I have no choice. When I walk into the room, immediately I am identified as a black woman. I cannot choose to take off my blackness and, next day I'm going to be Asian or Puerto Rican or Mexican or something like that. I'm always identified as black. And for her to play with our culture rubs me the wrong way. And like I said, I'm going to try to not cuss in this video, but let me just tell y'all up front. She might be a couple bitches, because as I went through this interview that she had, I was like, what the fuck? With some of her answers. And they asked her something like, how does she define black and blackness? And she basically said, like, race is a theory. See, this is what I'm talking about. When you're black, it's not a theory to us. When they ask us who we are, like they asked her, like, who are you? Meaning, who are you as far as your race? She goes into this long explanation of who she is. And for us, if someone asked us who we are or what race we are, we would just simply say black. We don't need a long explanation. Now, this goes back to when she was in college. She claims that when she was in college, that people were confused about her race. And they would come up to her and ask her what race she was. And then back then she did the same thing. She went into this long drawn out explanation. So people, she claimed, actually thought she was a black girl trying to pass for white. So she claims that she just kept that basically we told her that she was black. And so she just adopted it, which is some bullshit to me. Y'all, this shit don't even make sense. And they asked her, you know, when you were found out that you had been passing for black when you were actually white, do you think that you should have done anything differently? They asked her, looking back now, would she have done anything differently? And her answer was no. She says that the only thing that she wishes is that she would have been able to tell her own story, before a narrative of who she was put out there like she was a con or a liar. And my answer to that is, you are a liar. You're not black. No matter how many black men you sleep with, no matter how many weaves or wigs that you put on to make your hair look like ours, you're not black. You know, you're sampling who we are, sampling our culture, and you're, tricking your mind, or I don't know, y'all, what she's doing, what's going on in this woman's head that makes her truly believe that she's black. Either she's crazy, or like I say, this is some type of social experiment that she's doing, which is pissing black people off. And they asked her, like, when she was working in the NAACP, did she think that she should have addressed the issue with her race sooner? Basically saying, well, here's what I really am. I am a white woman who, identifies herself as black. And she said no. She doesn't think that, she should have done that. See, the thing with her that bothers me is that She's getting all of this exposure and this press and this attention for what she's doing. It's crazy, y'all. Um, she has children that she's raising. And if she's this screwed up, what type of biracial children is she raising? What will they be like when they are adults being raised by a woman that has actually put on a costume of being black? And let me explain what I mean about that, y'all. We know that there are some couples out there that swirl, but they call it swirling for a reason. Those white people that are dating black people are not saying that they're black. Basically, they're saying, I'm a white person dating a black person, so we call it swirling. The difference with this Rachel woman is that she, in her mind, has identified herself as a black woman. Now, another thing that annoys me about this is that as black women, when we go out into the work world and just the world in general, we have to put up with a lot. We have to put up with a lot of stereotypes and, preconceived thoughts about us. And it's a fight every day. Just recently we watched the reporter at the White House, the black reporter, April, and we watched that press secretary be so disrespectful to her, so condescending to her, told her not to shake her head. He don't do it again like she was a child. We watched Congresswoman Maxine Waters be basically, talked about her wig and how she looked, and she was disrespected. So now we have this white woman who's telling us, she's black, she's fighting the fight with us as black women. And, she said this statement where she said that when it comes to race in today's world, there's been a line drawn in the sand, and she's staunchly on the black side. I don't know if she believes that she is flattering us, or is she so hungry to be black that she's lost her fucking mind? I don't know what to think about this woman. Is she a fraud? Is this all a game? Is she doing this for publicity? Because let's face it, after everything that she's gone through, she's now written a book about it. So was this all some type of social experiment? I don't know what to think about her. I don't know if she's crazy. This thing that she talks about, racial fluidity and transracial and all of that. Either you are or you're not black. There's no complexity to it. When you think about where your ancestors originated from, her ancestors did not come from Africa. Now, they say that civilization did begin in Africa. A lot of people don't believe that. So, if we go back to prehistoric times and all of that, everyone is a descendant from someone in Africa. But I'm talking about, you guys know what I'm talking about. I don't even have to explain that. This woman, to me, is making a mockery of us. That's the feeling that I get from her. It's like this is all a game. Even for her to be heading up that local chapter of the NAACP. Now, I'm not saying that someone could not be an activist and really, committed to the struggles of Black people and want to be part of it. If she had come in there as a white woman doing that, then, being true to who she was as far as her race was concerned, I don't think people would have had a problem with it. But she went in pretending to be Black. And then, her true identity was uncovered. That's weird, y'all. And then there's all this talking around, race and who she is and these long explanations. They don't make sense. You know? They don't make sense. The interviewer asked her, could you have just been a white woman that went to the NAACP, went to Black people and said, I want to be a part of your fight, your struggle. I know I'm white and I know you don't think I'm committed, but I do want to fight for you. In other words, could you have just been yourself? Because there have been white people that have staunchly fought alongside Black people, in our struggles, in things that have happened, with us throughout history. Why do you have to be this fraud? That's the part that troubles me, y'all. And it's being who you are. There was even a part in the interview where the interviewer complimented her on her hair. And, she said, yeah, I want to give a shout out to my girl, blah, 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 at such and such for sending me 2 bundles of hair. Yeah, I lightened it and installed the unit in my head. Even using our talk when we're talking about our hair. Now, I understand that, she was a hairstylist, and I guess she worked in a Black beauty parlor, you know, but it's like she studied us as Black women. And like I said, put on this costume of who she thinks we are. She is not like a Kardashian that just dates Black men. This woman has done something a little different. The Kardashians, we know that they stay with a Black man on their arm, even to the mama. But this woman doesn't just want to date Black men. She wants to be a Black woman. All of this stuff she's saying where she identifies as Black. It's eerie. It's weird. It's creepy. She also talks about, you know, color within the Black community, light skin versus dark skin. And she even explores that whole dynamic that we have within our race, where in some instances, lighter skinned people feel that they're better than darker skinned people, and all of that. And even that rubbed me the wrong way. You know, I don't know like what people she was around that schooled her on some of our little idiosyncrasies and the just being Black, our Blackness, our culture. It's almost like to me she's stealing something from us. And I don't find it like it's a tribute to us in any way. I find it offensive what she's done and what she's doing. They even asked her, being white, you could have been a bridge to between white and Black. You could have done it in a way where you were a white woman who deeply understood, because even the person that was interviewing her could tell that she had studied us. And she does understand, like I said, the idiosyncrasies that we have within our race. I'm not going to take that from her. She definitely understands. I believe she also understands the fight that we have in this country, being black, and how the country treats us. She actually understands it. But the difference with her, like this interviewer said, because you understand, you truly have studied us, and you understand, why couldn't you have been just a bridge? You know, where you as a white woman, go back to your white race and say, hey, look, this is how these people feel. This is the struggles that they have. This is what they think. You know, can you kind of understand how black people feel in America? The interviewer asked her that. And then again, she talks all in these circles, you know, that don't really make sense. The interviewer even asked her, after you were uncovered and you received all that, the the backlash from the black community, how did you feel? Did you feel betrayed? And she said she wouldn't say that she felt betrayed. She felt that we just misunderstood her. That because, she was put out there as a con and a liar, that it pricked our nerves, and sent people in the direction of seeing her as a villain instead of a person that I guess was trying to celebrate our culture and who we were and who we are. I don't know, y'all. This thing of white privilege, it creeps into this because of the way that she looks. And I think because she was able to kind of transform herself where she could pass as maybe a biracial black person. Because y'all, let's face it, like my grandfather used to always tell me, being black, we have people in our race that span from the lightest of light, who can pass for white, to the deepest of dark. So, because of that, she had a certain look that, a lot of black people probably looked at her, especially since she was pretending and she was putting styles in her hair that copied, black women's hairstyle, and she probably was wearing darker makeup. That, it left people kind of wondering, is this woman biracial? And she fed into all that. She ate it all up. And it was like her white privilege allowed her to put on our, well, a costume of being black, and then she could take it off when she wanted to. See, that's the difference about being black. Because the moment we walk into a room, our blackness comes in with us. When we leave, we take it with us. It is not something that we can put on and take off at will like she does, you know? And the fact that she's writing a book and will probably make quite a bit of money off this book, that bothers me as well. I don't know, y'all. Something about her, at first, like everyone else, I was outraged. I was like, not this white bitch, and you know where I went with all that. That's what I was saying to myself. You know, is she gonna, what is she doing? What is wrong with her? And then after I sat and thought about it, I was even more pissed, y'all. I just Something about her. It's confusing. It's crazy. And even doing this story, the story that me talking about it is confusing because what she's done, and who she is, it's all like I said in the beginning of the video, it's like she's doing some type of social experiment, playing with our culture, and specifically Black women. I don't know, y'all. I know this video was all over the place, and I would like your opinion on her. You know, what do you think of all this? Are you confused like I am? Do you think that this is some type of game she's playing? Do you think she's just fucking literally crazy? You know? Now, a lot of people would say, well, why are Black people bothered by this? Because obviously she worships our culture and I guess us as Black women because it doesn't feel right. That's why we're offended by it. You sit back and you watch her on television or watch her giving an interview, and you're sitting on there like, what's up with this broad? You know, why is she doing this? What is the end game? Because you could have just dated black guys like the Kardashians do. What is this game that you're playing with our race, with our culture? That's the problem that I have. So y'all, I'm going to end this video because I've been all over the place. I just want to know what y'all think it is. Please put it down in the comments. This is another video that I would sure be interested to hear what my brothers and sisters out there have to say about this. This is weird. And, my question to her is, what's your story? What is all this about? And with that, everyone, thank you for watching the video. And sorry about all the clicking, but I was going back and forth to some of the questions that she had, that she was given, and some of the answers that she gave. So you guys have a great night, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye now.